Repeat after me. Sing, brothers.
Make it all these years? How did I make it this far? Through the valleys and over the hill, I know it had to be God. How did I make it through the storm? How did I make it through the rain? If you want to know just how I got here, it's so easy to explain. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far by the grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far by the grace. Lord, I thank you for how you brought me through the night. Lord, you kept me. Said you never left me. You stood by my side. There were so many times when I came so close. When old man death, he tried to take me in. But the reason I'm here is not hard to see. In fact, it's so easy for me to explain. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far. And I made it by the grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. I was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far by the grace. I remember the times when I strayed away, even though I knew the word, still I didn't obey. But God's mercy and His grace kept me and it stayed with me and brought me all the way. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far, and I made it by the grace. Said it was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace. I made it this far, and I made it by the grace of God. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. It was God's grace. His amazing grace.